tonight. Yes, we've got an Xbox Partner Developer Showcase this week, which is always very exciting. Expect to see some new trailers there. Plus, we've talked about Xbox and xCloud gaming recently. Has PlayStation cloud gaming kind of surpassed it? It seems so. Plus, just to keep all the consoles, on a par here, Emulator, a Nintendo Switch emulator company, has been sued to death. Literally, it's game over for them. All this and much, much more. Oh yeah, and there's a cute girl doing some mocap for some popular games that we'll take a look at as well. So stay tuned for that. Let's hit the credits.
It's the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden.
Yokoso, Yokoso, Yokoso. Welcome to the Monday Game Chat. You are, of course, most welcome. Arigato gozaimasu, Yokoso. I hope you're good. I hope you are well. As ever, it is the Monday Game Chat, where we're going to talk all things game. Chat, game, Monday. You see how it works? Now, you are the chat. Okay, so make sure you say hello in the chat. Let me know any gaming news of the week that you'd like to discuss. Join in the conversation and all of that. And most importantly, let me know what games you've been playing this week. What's been lighting your world up in the world of gaming this week? Put it in the chat, as I always like to hear. And as ever, as Jerome so beautifully puts it each week, hit the likes. Yeah, hit the likes, because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content like this, ladies and gentlemen. As ever, good to see Jerome, who's been playing some more Resident Evil 4 and his Wii version, like you mentioned last week. And Al Davis, hello Al Davis, been playing a bit of Pac-Man Repack on the old GFN. Good to hear. I haven't jumped into that yet. I've been quite busy, but it is something I want to jump into ASAP. A bit of Pac-Man ASAP on Repack. Yeah, that's what I want to be doing. Anyway, so it's been a busy old week in terms of gaming this week. I didn't think it had, and then I started looking at my notes that I collect. What happens is I collect news stories from basically, as soon as I finish the show, from last week, I start collecting news stories, putting it together. And I was thinking, I might not do a show tonight. It's been fairly quiet. But then I've forgotten there's some biggish news stories. So let's just kick off, shall we? So Battlefield. Oh, that's, let me just. Yes. So it looks like Battlefield, which was always meant to be a sort of a challenger to Call of Duty and that kind of thing, and yet it never had a battle royale element, which is kind of the main thing, isn't it, when it comes to Call of Duty, really? Although Battlefield is always very exciting and it's fun to play, it seems, ladies and gentlemen, that EA's next Battlefield game will also have a free-to-play battle royale. It always, strikes me why they never had this in the first place. And I know people say, they'll just be, copying other games, or, battle royale games are over, but I'm not convinced. I still think they're a hell of a lot of fun. People love just to find different ways to go against each other, in a bit of PvP. And I must admit, I enjoy playing Battlefield now and then. It's a sort of a fun game to get into. It's very kind of large in its scale. Lots of, it's chaos. But once you get the hang of it, you feel you're in the kind of heat of the battle. So it's interesting that this is the case. So this is, according to Insider Gaming, an exclusive. Yeah, an exclusive. EA's Battlefield game will also have a free-to-play battle royale. It's interesting, given all the recent redundancies being made across the industry, including EA and some big games. they're still investing, by the looks of things, investing in Battlefield. Been a rough couple of years for Battlefield franchise, with Battlefield 2042 failing to meet players' expectations. I thought it was all right, but maybe that's relative to your expectations of a Battlefield game. On launch, the game was arguably one of the least complete Battlefield games to date. Loads of bugs and core design choices that did not resonate with the community. So it had lackluster sales. Well, officially, so it's not official, but they've heard it from an insider gaming. So take it with a pinch of salt. There are multiple Battlefield projects in the works which will be integrated in the new Battlefield universe. EA CEO Andrew Wilson has also hinted that the next mainline Battlefield game will not be released until 2025. Insider Gaming has also learned that the next Battlefield title is taking somewhat of a back to its roots approach. Thumbs up from me there. With the likes of 64 player matches, the return of its 4-class system. Where's the bit about the Battle Royale? Ripple Effect, the studio is working on the new experience of Battlefield franchise, is working on a new Battle Royale title that's currently aimed to be free to play and will follow a similar strategy to the highly successful Call of Duty Warzone. The news may come as a shock to some, but past Battlefield 3rd game mode experiences, including Battlefield 5's Battle Royale Firestorm and Battlefield 2042's Hazard Zone, missed a huge opportunity, with the titles not being free to play. So yeah, as they say here, what do you think? Battlefield's next mainline game having a free Battle Royale. I mean, maybe that's not your bag, but I'm excited about that. I like, anything that's sort of, I like the Battlefield games, especially the Battlefield one, as it were. But yeah, I enjoy the games. So there we go. See what you've got to say there. Bro, I have a question. Can I share a game with a friend and play together at the same time? Both of us have Xbox Series S. Yes, you can. If one of you've got Gold Live and you set it up like I explain in my main video on that, you can. My son and I play Sea of Thieves together. Lots of times sharing one Xbox Game Pass account. So yeah, you can. So there we go. I think we've answered him. I think he's responding to one of my main videos on my channel, which is how to share your Xbox Game Pass with other people. And the answer is yes, as you quite rightly say, Mr. Bayram plays, you can. I wonder if they'll do another Medal of Honor game. I remember playing the first Medal of Honor game. I really loved it because it had the Band of Brothers style theme to it. I loved the music, the narration, that kind of documentary style, even though I look back now and the graphics look awful, but at the time it kind of blew me away. It's sort of such a good narrative, and it sort of fed into that World at War. I don't know any of you old enough to remember the great documentary. I think it was in the maybe late 70s or 80s, World at War, which was just really looking at World War II from and loads of archive footage and just telling the story of World War II using loads of archive footage. It's one of these sort of epic mini-series documentaries that, were, sold in America and in the UK and stuff like that. But it reminded me of that kind of, hint back to it. I had a version of Medal of Honor on my Game Boy Advance. Actually, it was quite fun. So there we go. Omar, we're here to help. It's a helpful chat. If you have any questions, people are always very helpful with advice and stuff. I do. I agree with you, Mr. Bayram Plays. The chaos of the multiplayer. At first, I found it too chaotic. And then I just concentrated on, because I wasn't sure what I was doing. But then when you start concentrating on your own game, as it were, and sort of playing your role, staying out the way, taking people out, it just became a bit more, a lot more fun, really, doing that. That was the key thing for that when it comes to Battle Royale. So on something sadder, I don't know if it is sadder news, but so this Switch emulator, Yuzu, shuts down as the creator agrees to pay Nintendo $2.4 million. So not surprisingly, Nintendo are very protective of their IP. I mean, there was a whole issue of even streamers playing their games initially. They were one of the last people to sort of get on board with that. They're very protective. It's a very, the nature of a lot of Japanese companies, very protective of their IP in a way. I mean, all big companies are protective of their IP, but, when it comes to streaming and stuff like that, you just need to have a bit more of an open mind. Anyway, not, however, with emulators, which effectively is ripping off your IP. And it's no surprise that Nintendo sued this Switch emulator company, which basically meant that you could play Nintendo games on your Steam Deck, on your PC and stuff like that. Anyway, Nintendo went after them and they've basically taken them out. Tropical Haze, the developer of an open source Switch emulator, so it was open source, has agreed to pay $2.4 million in damages to Nintendo and cease all operations. Basically, they've got to cease operations, got to hand over all their code, take down their website, everything, basically just decimated. It's not surprising if you take the mickey out of somebody else's IP. News of Nintendo's legal action against Yuzu surfaced last week, with the company claiming the emulator facilitated piracy, which effectively did, at a colossal scale. It said over 1 million copies of The Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom had been illegally downloaded ahead of its official launch. Anyway, basically, they got to pay $2.4 million, surrender their website domains, hand over any physical circumvention devices, not to form new entities or associations to develop similar Nintendo emulation software in the future. And they published a note saying, users saying that they are being they're discontinuing. Not surprising, really. But there we go. I know, a lot of people, or it was quite a popular emulator, but sayonara Uzu. Yeah. On this whole disruption that seems to be happening in the gaming industry at the moment with layoffs and stuff like that, a prime example of maybe overpaying and now having to pay the costs, because I think that's the impression we're getting, is that there's a tightening of the belt and maybe things were being, overpaid, probably driven by the fact that, Xbox paid $78 billion for Activision Blizzard King. It probably inflated things somewhat. Anyway, Gearbox will be sold next month. Apparently, they are part of the Embracer Group. Now, I remember the Embracer Group made a massive investments, and I thought at the time they seemed a bit overzealous. They seemed to be building themselves up as a major publisher, and they had Crystal Dynamics, so they had the kind of Lara Croft and all that kind of stuff. They had Gearbox, but they have been going through a significant restructuring, a reorganization, call it what you will, over the last few months. The Embracer Group is going through a vast reorganization effort that's seeing subsidiaries being closed, sold, and cut down left, right, and center. It's an overwhelming effort by the group to recoup finances lost from the collapse of a $2 billion Saudi-backed deal. So basically, this Saudi company pulled out at the last minute. That's what she said. Most recently, it was revealed that Saber Interactive will be sold. So they do Don't they do some the motorsports things? Don't they? They do one of the motorbike racing games and stuff like that. Saber Interactive. They're going to be sold. Oh, World War Z and SnowRunner. That was it. World War Z. I knew it was familiar. Anyway, Embracer Group purchased Gearbox for $1.2 billion. These are crazy monies. But it's unlikely the conglomerate will get any kind of return on its investment. So they're selling that. Gearbox's legendary company. He's worked on the likes of Counter-Strike, Brothers in Arms, Duke Nukem, Aliens, and of course the Borderlands series, ladies and gentlemen, which of course is being made into a film, the trailer of which I showed you last week. So yeah, it's all a bit of a shake-up. You know, you buy a company, maybe you overpay for the company, and then you've got to sell it off. Hopefully the film does well for Gearbox, and they make some money from it. Talking of films and games, let's have a look at this. Dune. I'm particularly interested in this because this is the Dune trailer, the game that's coming up. Now, I'm particularly interested in this because I finally got round to watching Dune a couple of days ago, actually. And so that I'm ready to watch Dune 2. It's very good. It's so good. Really well done. Anyway, here's a game. Look at that. A sandworm. Get out of the way. So what type of game? Well, that plays. As you could tell, it's a sort of basically the first Dune Awakening game, this is it, is looking very promising. Oh, that's a bit like Jedi Fallen. It's got all the kit and stuff from Dune, the little flying craft things. Yeah, the film was so good, the first one. I'm so looking forward to the second one. So there's a bit of building in there, a bit of resource, material collecting, that kind of stuff. So you can sort of get the impression of what sort of game it is. And it says here, according to Cami here, it's confirmed for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and PC. Combines survival genre with an open world MMO. I know that's going to turn some people off, but equally it's going to turn some people on. Begin your journey on Arrakis. Create a character. Learn skills and abilities. Declare your loyalties by what you wear. Explore rolling dunes and bustling villages. Find water, extract it. Manage your still suit. Third-person combat with melee, ranged and abilities. Infantry, ground and air vehicles. Sandworms are in the game. They can't be killed but must be avoided. Create a guild and grow it into a house miner. Create a base from a variety of distinct styles. Cooperatively build bases. So it's an MMO, survival MMO where you find resources, create factions, build out your character, develop your character, build houses and stuff like that. So there we go. Let me know what you think. Dune Awakening. Does that appeal to you? I mean, the trailer, by all accounts, looks really cool, but it is a trailer. That's its job. But let me know. I just thought I'd share that while we're on the on that whole kind of film and games. Mr. Barron says, I remember Medal of Honor on GBA. I found it quite hard. I think I've still got it somewhere in the house somewhere. If my my lovely partner hasn't thrown it out. Yeah, rip user, it definitely. Yeah, to be fair, emulators, they all have strict legal warnings that you can only use ROM images if you pay for the game outside of the emulator. It's the users who abuse the IP. Well, in fairness, it's, the issue that Nintendo have is, why does anybody need an emulator for their games? That's the thing. So if you create it's this whole argument about, the whole bit streaming of, movies, pirate streaming of movies, and, the big like Pirate Bay would say, oh, we're not actually distributing it, we're just facilitating it. Well, you know what you're doing really, aren't you? Facilitating it. And that's the issue, I think. Yeah. Well, exactly. You only have a license in the game. It's exactly what it is, Gandhara. At the end of the day, people think they own a game. They don't. They just have a license in the game to play it on that version on that platform that they own. Mr. Bone Play is currently playing Borderlands on PC. There we go. Yeah, exactly. You will be denied the right to play your physical games. Exactly, because you only have a license to play the game on that platform. That's how it works. The Dune game does look amazing. Yeah, it's the first time. I didn't know, to be honest, Mr. Baron Plays. I did not know they were making a Dune game. Of course, it makes sense, I suppose. It's interesting, actually, because I was, after I watched Dune, they made, so Denis Villeneuve, the director, knew that he couldn't make, people have tried to make Dune before, to varying degrees. And it's such a kind of big, complex book it's such a big, complex book that you can't really make one film from it. You can't condense it into one film. So they decided that they would spread it across at least 2 films, but there was no guarantee that the second film would be funded or greenlit. But they just thought, well, we'll just make the first one really good that they have to greenlight it. It's interesting. Caseball is challenging me there. Explain yourself, Caseball. Which bit am I not factually correct upon? I'd be curious. You might be right. Just let me know. Rumours are Nvidia, and I don't know, this is taken with a massive pinch of salt. Nvidia's Steam Deck rival, get off, aims to push AMD out of the handheld game. AI and GPU giant Nvidia is looking to smaller horizons as it aims to tackle the Steam Deck market. With countless PC gaming handhelds out of the woodwork, Nvidia is keen to get its hardware into smaller portable devices. Take it with a pinch of salt. That's what I'm saying here. The Steam Deck and ROG Ally are the most popular handheld gaming PCs on the market, and both use AMD technology. It makes sense. Nvidia are just about finding ways of selling or effectively licensing, exploiting their graphics cards. Yeah, that's what Nvidia GeForce Now is about. It's about showcasing the graphic cards at the end of the day, utilizing, the graphics cards. Via YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead, Nvidia, so it's a rumor, Nvidia is working internally on a new handheld PC prototype. The company is said to be getting serious about making more handheld gaming devices with their graphics IP. I could see them doing it. I could definitely see them doing it. Although they're all in on the AI at the moment. Or they could just be teaming up with a brand. We don't currently know what brand Nvidia is teaming up with to create their upcoming handheld. Because, yeah, they'd probably want to do that. So could it just be could it just be them partnering with some manufacturers like, Lenovo or MSI or whatever to come up with a handheld that's powered by, Nvidia graphics chips, GPUs, rather than building it themselves? That's the key thing. Anyway, it is a rumor, but I just thought it was an interesting rumor. It's a plausible rumor. Yeah. Who wants... So the Xbox showcase coming up this week, but how about this? Who wants this? There we are. 1 terabyte SpongeBob Xbox Series X. Now you see in my room, put it by my TV. Nice. You know, the Xbox, I like the Xbox Series X design. Yeah, it looks nice. Looks like an objet d'art, you know, next to my TV there. It looks quite nice. I'm not sure a giant yellow SpongeBob next to my TV would look quite as aesthetic. Although that's not to say I don't find it slightly appealing. Microsoft is selling a limited edition SpongeBob Xbox. Anyway, let's have a look at the news. Here we are. The bundle, what, will retail at $700? It's limited supply. What do you get? You get your Xbox wireless controller featuring SpongeBob. A digital download of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. For $700? Is it Mr. Krabs? Mr. Crab bloody selling this? Seems a bit expensive, doesn't it? Like, I mean, let's be like limited edition or something like that. It's crazy. Right, Ron there. He's got his drink and popcorn here. Yeah, here's to you. I'd love an Nvidia handheld that's not a Switch. I'm really loving the handheld PC market. See, I never really, I'd never really bought into it, but I'm beginning to sort of see the appeal of it, actually. It's just about getting the size right. Yeah, not too big, but not too small. Yeah? It's like a Goldilocks prostitute. Not too big, not too small. Don't know why I made that joke up, but never mind. Yeah, SpongeBob, exactly. Not at 700. Yeah, crazy money. Let me know what you think. I mean, I love the box. I love the design with his little arms on the side. So it looks, if you put it at an angle, it's square, like SpongeBob. Crazy. Right, so let's go. Now, before we do that, so Digital Foundry did a test of PlayStation Plus game streaming versus Xbox xCloud. And as you can see, they found, I know you probably be able to tell very well here, but they found it quite a dramatic difference between the PlayStation Plus cloud streaming, which was effectively in 4K, and Project xCloud. And they postulate that Project xCloud are now using Xbox Series S servers. So it was quite a thing when they announced this, when xCloud announced that they'd be using Xbox Series X servers. And I've talked about it on this show loads of times, like how xCloud seemed to be standing still in terms of technology and development, whether it's improving in the stream quality, the lag quality, all of that. They seem to be standing still. And by all accounts, by this report, they did a whole video here where they compare the two. By all accounts, they seem to be going backwards. I mean, one of the things about Game Pass is that there's these queues And that's also, a problem with, xCloud. So maybe they're utilizing by having to sort of create more blades, they're having to utilize Xbox Series S style blades in order to kind of cope with it. But anyway, if you're interested, there's this, let's see if we can find the, here we are. So here we are. This is them testing the quality. And you can see, I can see, I don't know if you lot can see from this because I'm streaming it, but you can see the quality, the difference between xCloud, which seems a bit more stuttery, and also the quality of PlayStation Plus. And, I was one of the many people saying, what's PlayStation doing? They need to catch up on the kind of cloud gaming. And I still think they do, but at least they're offering what seems to be a better stream quality based on Digital Foundry. Now, we know Digital Foundry sometimes, despite being experts in their field, when it comes to cloud streaming, have previously lacked serious experience. They did a whole thing about Stadia and it was terrible. And then Google had to contact them and said, you do realize that you set this all up wrong. And then they had to retract what they said and redo it. And they went, oh, actually, it's quite good. Yeah, I was doing it in the car park on some 5G network. Anyway, I trust that they know what they're talking about now. It's been several years since they did that and that faux pas. And so you'd like to think they know what they're talking about, but they seem to be suggesting that xCloud is using Xbox Series S servers now. And if that is the case, that would seem to be a step backwards. So if this is reliable, then I think it's a crying shame. In the UK legislation, it's lawful to make copies of materials you've purchased, received as a gift or downloaded from legal sources. Ah, I see what you see. I see what you say. But the difference is, I would argue, Case Ball, is in the licensing. That's why they have an end user license agreement. Yeah. Which is about the license, not necessarily the copyright. And the license is very restrictive about what you can, how you can use it and stuff like that. That's what you often find in the end user license agreement. But I get what you're saying, but that's why there's kind of this added layer. I would argue that they have this added layer of a ULA, an EULA, end user license agreement. Which is always very restrictive if you read them. xCloud has always used Series S instances from day one. One Xbox Series X equals 2. Ah, I see what you mean, Gandara. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, look, apart from them messing up their Stadia review. Yeah, exactly. The trouble is, like them and the Washington Post review, both which had to make retractions or at least revisit it. The point is the damage was already done. They'd already done the damage, especially that guy from the Washington Post. By trying to play Stadia in his office environment on his office network, like his corporate office network. Like, why would you do that? Like that everyone else is using. Like, that's just the dumbest thing to do. And then he's doing that whole, look at this, look at the lag, and you think, no, sugar Sherlock. But even I remember when the day Stadia launched, I was at work and I thought, oh, I'll give it a quick try. And I thought, no, wait a minute, I'm at work, that'd be dumb. Who would do that? I'll wait until I get home when I'm on my own network. Anyway, the point is, yeah, that same guy, bless him, he went back months later and said, actually, it's pretty good. Too late, mate. It's like there's apologies when newspapers come out with a massive headline and then they're proved wrong and they're forced to make an apology. Yeah, the massive headline, saying something bad about someone or saying a complete lie is on the front page. Then months later, when they have to retract it because they've been proved wrong or they made a mistake, they put the apology on page 9, tucked away. Nobody sees it. It's too late. The damage is done. The reputation is done. And both Washington Post and Digital Foundry were both guilty of doing that. But it's too late. Yeah, they went back and they redid it, and Google talked them through how to set up properly, you numb nuts. But it's too late. The damage was already done. Yoshida's in the house, both metaphorically and physically. She's in the house. Anyway, that reminds me, the lovely Yoshida, that cues me perfectly. Who wants to see a cute Asian girl? Of course you do. Of course you do. This is all in the spirit of games. Look, since Overwatch 2 is now on GeForce Now, here is the motion capture girl for Tracer. It's just on TikTok. Let's play again. This actress, I mean, obviously they speeded that bit up, but all the moves are there, is the actress who does all the motion capture. There's some more of her here, not just for Overwatch, on this guy's TikTok. Better check. I haven't checked this guy's TikTok. Could be well dodgy. Here we are. This is for Project Sakana, I think. Project Sakana, which is Project Sakana. No, she is Sakana. That's her name. That's her YouTube name. YouTube Sakana. Let's do one more because she does Genshin Impact as well. I can find it. Here we are. More Tracer. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. A bit of interest. The motion capture actress for a whole shed loads of games, apparently. Genshin Impact, I think she does. There's some other ones I've seen her do. In fact, if you look her up, Sakana. It's funny. It's funny they have to do the motion capture on a treadmill and stuff like that. So you can see she does loads of characters. This is from Genshin Impact. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with the audience. Thought you might appreciate that and stuff like that. Probably tried to play Stadia on his fax machine. I remember like that. Google did everything half-assed. Exactly. They should have, We talked about it at the time. Not just me, but during that first few months of launch, how you'd think that they would have, taken the key opinion leaders, I don't know, like Tom from The Verge and, people from Bloomberg and the people from the Washington Post or whatever, and given them insight. You like your Marcus Brownlee types, they get insight before the official launch, and they get taken and wooed and shown. And so their mind's sort of blown, and then they go away when they get, go, oh, this has got to see this thing. It's amazing. Rather than, rather than just sort of throw it on to the public and the press all at the same time. You've got to work the press, haven't you? You've got to work the opinion leaders and stuff like that. And they failed on that kind of miserably. I don't think they sold it very well. Kind of, anyway, we know that. It's history now. We still hope that, Diablo 4 is coming to xCloud. She's very cute and very good. Yoshida, yeah. And Ninja as well. Yeah, she apparently loads. As I say, you're going to check out her channel. I just came across it on Instagram and I just thought, oh, that's cute. Diablo 4 not going to xCloud. Yeah. Well, we don't know yet, do we? Whether they strike a deal with Ubisoft. That's the thing. Might come to GeForce Now instead. Am I allowed to talk about Yuzu? Maybe just by mentioning it, Yeah, they are. It's asking the judge to make... so it has massive impact on other emulators. Absolutely. We've all used a dodgy emulator now and then, haven't we? For a bit of PC work, surely. I know I have. Right, should we go to the Xbox Partner Show? So, these are always exciting. Xbox Partner Review. This Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. So we know the format, just loads of good content, loads of trailers and stuff like that. Microsoft is holding the Xbox Partner Preview event on Wednesday. 30-minute broadcast will include more than a dozen new trailers for new and upcoming games from publishers like Capcom, Nexon, EA, and others. Tales of Kenzira Zhao, Kunitsu Gamei, Path of the Goddess, and the first Berserker Karzan will be part of the preview. So this will, I might do a watch along depending whether I'm available or not. It would be fun. March the 6th, 6 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. PT, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And one of these games here, they've been tweeting, which one is it? Kunitsugame, Path of the Goddess, I think, if I've got that right, have been tweeting. Yes. Quite a bit. Before we take, so this was from earlier today, following the announcement of the Xbox Partner Showcase. Before we take our next steps on the path, reacquaint yourself with the reveal trailer for Kunitsugame, Path of the Goddess, which was shown last June. So they definitely looks like, let's go back to the beginning. It definitely looks like, look at that, typical Capcom in that capture there, motion capture and stuff. Talking of motion capture. It does look like we will see further updates on this. Capcom games always look so great, don't they? It's that, I tell you what they have is they have that arcade machine feel to them. Like there was a time when the arcade machine was the most powerful version of a game that you could play. Not many people had PCs as powerful as you'd get in the arcade. I don't know sure what the game's all about. But anyway, Konnichiwa Game. It does look interesting and awesome and very Capcom and Japanese. What is going on there? Anyway, it looks like we'll have more of this. This was the reveal in June. So we'll probably have more updates on Capcom, some EA games by the looks of things. Just we'll go back here. And Nexon. And they're shaping it up. So similar format as to before, but with a few changes apparently. Anyway, so that's exciting. We love a showcase. Gives you something to talk about. Just checking my. Let's go back to the old studio. Right, let's see what you guys have been talking about as ever. I don't like calling emulators dodgy. They serve a legitimate use in the gaming community. Well, Gandhara, I'm calling them dodgy because that's what they are. They're dodgy. I'm not arguing they do serve a useful, people enjoy them in the gaming community. But a little bit ooh, little bit little bit dodgy, as we say. I don't think they should have had active emulator during the life of a console in the first place. Yeah, you see, emulators are more... The ones that I've used are ones to play old arcade games. Now you have things like Antstream Arcade, which are reviving those old arcade games and give you an opportunity to play, the arcade games from the 80s and stuff like that on your PC. But yeah, I mean, I think actually, Jerome, you make a good point. It's a bit of a risk emulating a console during its lifetime. Yeah, Capcom are great. They are. I want Street Fighter games on GeForce Now. That'd be awesome. Well, actually be interesting because, Capcom have a reasonable relationship with GeForce Now. We've seen a number of Capcom games come to GeForce Now. Could we see Kunitsu Kanatsu Gamai, Path of the Goddess? Could we see that coming to GeForce Now? It'd be interesting, unless it's Xbox exclusive. I saw the new Contra. It looks amazing, even on the Switch. Yeah, the RE engine is awesome. It's up there, isn't it? It is up there. Yeah, I know what you're doing there, Caseball. It's up there with that Snowdrop engine. I mean, Resident Evil Village, really excellent. Really cool. Whatever happened to that PvP Resident Evil game? I mean, I had Village. It was meant to be free, wasn't it? I wrote a few of the original drivers for MME. Wow. I can't remember, does GeForce Now have any fighting games? That's interesting because remember, one of the launch titles on Stadia, not Stadia again, Clive, you're always going on to Stadia, was Samurai Showdown, wasn't it? That was called Samurai Showdown, which was a great... Yeah, it was. The Samurai Showdown, without the W, Showdown, was one of the was one of the first games available on Stadia, and it was a great showcase of the how good the latency was. The new Dragon's Dogma 2 out this month is not on the GFN roadmap. It's interesting. That's interesting. It will be interesting to see what. Now the Activision Blizzard, that's just triggered my mind about Diablo. That's what I'm talking about, Activision Blizzard all of a sudden. Now the Activision Blizzard, now Battle.net is on GeForce Now. It makes sense that it opens up the portal for a whole load of games. Why have the store on there if you're only going to release 3 or 4 of the games? So could we see a trickle or even a torrent, BitTorrent? That was the word I was looking for earlier when it came to, sharing video and stuff like that. BitTorrent sites. Anyway, I digress. Could we see the opening of the floodgates for a load of Activision Blizzard titles on GeForce Now? Now Battle.net store is on there, because what is the point of having the store on there if you're only going to make 3 or 4 games available? There is no point. You might as well just make them available through Steam. So, yeah. I mean, I know all the games. Well, we all know, if you watched my video last week, whatever, on GeForce Now, the game's coming in February. But could there be more games? March, the game's coming in March, because I listed them all. If you haven't seen the video, takes a long time. I always dread the end of the month when GeForce Now news comes out, because I know they're going to be going, and here are 30 games for next month. And I always think to myself, do I just focus on the games that week, say 5-6 games that week, and then just do a long list in text of all the other games coming over the month? Or do I show a clip from every single game, 30 games, in the video? Well, I owe it to you as, watchers of my channel and, people who want this thing. I feel that I need to put the effort in. Yeah? I need to put the effort in. GeForce had Street Fighter 4. Was that at the beginning when it was a beta? Oh, yeah. Mortal Kombat 11 launched on Stadia. That was great. Yes, it was. Village and Re4 should drop next, hopefully, from Capcom. Yeah, we definitely need to see that. Mortal Kombat 10 and 11 are amazing. I've not played MK1 yet. Excellent. At the beginning, indeed. Anyway, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's, most of the news that we've covered. I'm just checking. Yeah, Nvidia Handheld, yeah, bad, dodgy, xCloud, yeah, we've done that. Gearbox to be sold, yeah. I think we've covered it, ladies and gentlemen. We've covered it. Let me know what games, apart from the ones I've listed, you are hoping to see, or do you think we'll see any more Indiana? Well, it's partners, so it's slightly different. It's not their first party titles, is it? It's their partners, like they say, from EA, Capcom, and Nexon. It was Nexon. So it's games from them. So on that basis that it's not first party titles, but their partner titles, like your Capcoms of this world and the EAs of this world, what games you think we are likely to see? Let me know in the chat down below and all of that. I'll be curious what you think. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's your news. That's your Monday game chat. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, case ball. Oh. Actually, aren't we due this month? X-Defiant. I think we are. I think X-Defiant is due this month. Am I not very much mistaken? We might see that. Yeah. I'm sure we are. Let me quickly check that before we... Oh, yeah. I saw a Jedi there. See, I'm just checking the X-Defiant news. Nothing since... Oh, they don't update their blog that much, do they? See if anybody else is talking about it. What's this? Oh, yeah, I'm sure I read somewhere. That it was due this month. So there we go, Case Ball. Let's just say we have it on reasonable authority. The amount X-Defiance could be one of the games at the showcase. I feel they might announce Jedi Survivor coming to Game Pass on the 6th. Oh. Yes, because I've not played. I hope it does, because I've not played it yet. I hope we get a new Assassin's Creed Red in the Game Pass. Yeah, EA, I think you're right. They've totally dried up releasing games on GFN. It's a shame. Crying shame. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, thank you, as ever, for joining me live tonight. And if you're watching on catch up, well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do ever get a chance to join us live, then these guys and girls and people in the chat will tell you it's great to be here live and to join in with the chat and all of that. But I appreciate you catching up later. I hope you enjoyed the show and all of that. I shall be back with some more GeForce Now news on Thursday, 2 p.m. If you want to find all the latest news and games related to GeForce Now, I might do a live stream for the Xbox Partner Watch Along. Let me know if you're interested in that. I'd love it if you could join us for that. That will be at 6 p.m., was it? I think it was 6 p.m. GMT. If that is the case, then I'm not too busy at work. We might be able to fit that one in as well. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, because if I don't see any of you during those two events, then why not join me same time, same place next week for the Monday Game Chat. Have a great week. Have a great gaming week. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden. Don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. Hit the join button today.